Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Welcome. Hare Krishna Valley.com.au. Anyone here for the first time? Oh, many of you here for the first time. Welcome. This is a very special place, Hare Krishna Valley. Did you feel when you arrived here like the atmosphere was different? Did anyone feel like that? Anyone? One person? Two? Oh, now six. Okay. That's good. The atmosphere is different here. Right? This place is Shanti Dam. Dam, in Sanskrit, in the ancient language of India, a Dam means a holy place. It means a sacred place where spiritual activities are performed. This is called a Dam. Shanti, this word Shanti means?
Peace.
Peace. So when you come here, you have to be peaceful. Well, if you're not peaceful, then we have to ask you to go back to the material world. This is a spiritual world, a different atmosphere here. It is a peaceful place, Shanti. And if you're not peaceful, then when you come here, you will be peaceful. Because we have the chest at the front gate. Did you see the chest as you drove in? Did anyone read the sign? What did it say?
Leave your ego in the chest.
Leave your ego in the chest. Did you leave your ego in the chest when you got here?
I forgot to read the...
Okay, just drive back to the front gate.
I tell you, many will walk with me because most of them might have forgotten.
Okay, anyone who forgot, please go to the front gate now. Leave your ego there and then come back and join us. We are ego-less, all of the rest of us, because we read the sign. And it says that when you're leaving, you can pick your ego up as you go. If you want it. Otherwise, we'll keep it in the chest for you until next time you come. So it means this is Shanti. How do you become Shanti? How do you become peaceful? Everyone wants to become peaceful. You become peaceful when you become free from ego. As long as you identify too much with the body, the mind, and the ego, you will suffer in this world. So many people identify with the body now. Too much. Just like anyone on Instagram. Yeah, it's all about the body. Right? Everyone, selfies. You ever done a selfie of yourself? Like that? People do it, they do selfies like. What is that? That's not normal behavior. It's not. It's actually abnormal behavior. To take people just do this all the time. Selfie, selfie, selfie. What does it mean? What does it mean? It means you're identifying too much with the body. Especially the younger generation now. Too much with the body. And it causes problems with the mind. The mind cannot be peaceful when you identify too much with the body. So to become peaceful, you have to give up identification with the body. This is what Krishna teaches in the Bhagavad Gita, which is one of our principal teachings, our books. Krishna says you have to give up identification with the body, because the body is temporary. It doesn't last. How long will you live for in this body?
And no one knows.
Not even 100 years. Some people 100. Few people in this room will go past 100. Most won't. Right? So the body is temporary, but everyone puts so much emphasis on the body. But it's a temporary journey. It's just a vehicle that we're inside now. In Sanskrit we call it yantra. Yantra means a machine. It's just a machine we get in. Like you all came in your car today. You got out, you don't stay in the car all the time. Cars just takes you from one place to another. Similarly, the body is just taking us at the moment on a particular journey, but it's not the ultimate reality. And it will finish in due course of time. But people spend their whole lives focused on the body. Deha pacha kalatradishu. Deha means your body. Apacha means things related to your body, your children, everything which comes. Kalatra means your wife or your husband or your partner. Adishu means paraphernalia, everything that you need to bring along with your facility or your setup in your life. Right? Adishu means all the paraphernalia. I need an iPhone. I need an iWatch. I need an iPad. I need an whatever, helicopter, whatever it is. Everyone needs this. This is adishu, paraphernalia. Not necessary. Everything will disappear in due course of time. Just like if you get on a train, like when I go to India sometimes we get trains. Like we'll go from like say Calcutta to Delhi or something. Actually most of the time these days we fly, but sometimes we get the train. So you get in the train and you have a little cabin and you're going for a 27-hour journey. Say Calcutta to Delhi maybe, right? And then on the way, while you're in the train, you start decorating the whole compartment, right? And then you get to Delhi and everything's nice. You have a jacuzzi in the corner, right? And you have nice paintings that your grandmother painted on the wall, right? And you have up your plasma television, and you have your little drink cooler for your Pepsi. So everything is there for you. And then when you get there, right, then the conductor says, okay, off the train. You say, I'm not getting off the train, I just spent all this money. I just set everything up. He says, no, your journey is finished. Off. So that's what we do with our whole lives. We just go through collecting all this paraphernalia, making all this setup, and one day the conductor comes and says, time to leave. Time to get out of the carriage. Right? That's called death. Right? You just get out of the carriage. That's all it is. Right? And then the soul does not finish. You go to your next birth. Or, if you're Krishna conscious, which is what we teach here, you go to Goloka, spiritual world, the kingdom of God. That is a different place. It is called Vaikuntha in Sanskrit. Vaikuntha. What does Vaikuntha mean? Kunta means anxiety. Vaikuntha means?
No anxiety.
No anxiety.
No anxiety. So this world we live in here, the material world, is called Kunta, which means anxiety. And then the other world, which we can show you how to get to, right? That is called Vaikuntha, which means no anxiety. So hands up which one you prefer. Hands up you prefer Kunta. Hands up you want Vaikuntha. Yeah, of course, everyone wants Vaikuntha. Hands up you didn't put your hand up. Some people are like, oh, I'm not sure what I want. Am I actually here? Am I actually experiencing this right now? People think all sorts of things these days. But spiritual enlightenment means, do you know who you are? And who are we? This is the interesting question. Who are you? We have to understand this. Who actually are we? Jivatma, we are the soul. Aham Brahmasmi, I am spirit. Now that I understand who I am spirit. Does everyone agree with that? I am spirit? Pretty much? 99% maybe? Usually someone in the audience doesn't agree. That's okay. That's okay. Makes life more interesting when someone doesn't agree. So. Most of us understand we are spirit, but now what does the spirit do? What is the spirit's occupation or vocation? What does he do? The spirit is meant to serve. Jivera, Swarupa Hoy, Krishnera, Nitya Das. Krishnera, Nitya Das. Das means servant. Just like my name is Kesava, Das. Kesava, Das. Das means servant of Kesava. Who is Kesava? Krishna. He is God. I am servant of Krishna, God. Some people say God. But God is a little bit boring name. God is just the position. Just like we say Prime Minister. That's just the position. But when you get to know the person, what's the name of our Prime Minister? Albert. Anthony. So Anthony. So if you know him well, you'll say, hey Tony, how you doing? How you doing today? You don't go and say, oh Mr. Prime Minister. You know, you say it's more personal. So when we say Krishna, we mean God, the person, the personality, not just the position. So Jivera Srupaho, Krishna and Nitya Das. I am servant of Krishna. That is who we are, that's our occupation. So if you want to find peace and happiness, you have to give up your identification with your body, your mind, and your ego. And that means you have to understand, so who am I actually? What is my ego means identity. So if I'm not something artificial which I impose upon myself, what am I actually? I'm servant of Krishna. That's my real ego. That's my real identity. Now, when you identify with that, that's when you become Shanti, peaceful. You will be peaceful. You will be peaceful in a world where there is no peace. You can't be peaceful in this world because this world is called kunta. Kunta means anxiety. Very good. We actually have trampolines outside. For anyone who's making noise, please go and jump. And we also have a games room at the back as well for the kids. There's table tennis, there's all sorts of things. So you can make as much noise as you want. Like that. But when we're in here, it's easier for me if we don't make so much noise. So if you like to make noise or you like to jump on the trampoline, please go now. Or if you like to go to the front box and put your ego there, please go now. But if you want to stay here, please be peaceful. So, this world is known as kunta. It is full of anxiety. But we want to become peaceful. So this is the secret to peacefulness. You have to understand that you are not the body, you are not the mind, and you are not the ego. The mind gives you so many problems. Does anyone's mind give them problems? One person, he is honest. Two honest people, 3 now. People's minds give them problems. Actually, the World Health Organization says that the #1 disease on the planet right now is mental disease. It's not heart disease or cancer. Mental disease. So many people have problems in the mind. Now, this is also because we are not connected to our spiritual identity properly. Then the mind will suffer. When you identify too much with this body, this ego, you will suffer. The mind will naturally suffer. I heard on the radio the other day, they said that 1 in 4 people between the ages of 18 and 25, which means the younger people, 1 in 4 feels lonely right now. They suffer from loneliness, the feelings like that. Does it sound like an accurate figure? Yeah, it sounds accurate, right? So this loneliness is coming from disconnection, not being connected. That's why we have this Hare Krishna community. So you don't have to be alone. You don't have to feel that loneliness and the mental anxiety and all these things. You can come and be with people who have a spiritual purpose in their life. That's why Swami Prabhupada, who's the founder of the Hare Krishna movement, his picture is on the seat of honor. Swami Prabhupada, he started this Hare Krishna movement all over the world. So we don't have to feel alone. We can have people who can join us on the spiritual journey. I've been a member of this Hare Krishna movement. We call it ISKCON. What does ISKCON stand for?
International Society of Hare Krishna Consciousness.
Yep, I'll try. What's that?
International Society of Hare Krishna Consciousness?
Yeah, International Society of Krishna Consciousness.
Yeah.
Same thing. Yeah, very good. So, ISKCON, right? He began ISKCON in 1965, right? He's actually an amazing person, Swami Prabhupada. I've dedicated my life to following his teachings. He's the purest person I've ever read about. When he left this world was 1977. I was only 8 years old. I didn't get to physically meet him. But I feel like I know him very well. I've read all of his books. He's actually the most voluminous author in history, modern history. Right? He's in the Guinness Book of World Records, not every year, but in some editions, for the most prolific writer, author of the modern era. He's written more than Shakespeare, or if you go back in previous times, Chanakya, any of these great authors, he's written actually more than that. So he came at the age of 69. Is anyone here 69 or older in the audience? Yeah, Prabhuji, 69 or 69 plus. So imagine you got on a boat now at your current age, plus 69 plus. You got on a cargo boat from Calcutta and went to Boston with $8 in your pocket and a trunk of your books, which you've translated into English for the English world. And you start in 8 years or actually 12 years, from 1965 to 1977, you start a worldwide movement where you create 108 temples all over the world, in many countries in the world. Your books are translated into multiple languages, and millions of copies are sold around the world. And you initiate 10,000 followers. Can you imagine doing it? It would be difficult to do. I'm only 53. So I can't even imagine like getting on a boat, $8, going to some other country, going to Tasmania. Get on the Spirit of Tasmania with $8 and a trunk of books and going there and starting a whole movement. The Tasmanian Spiritual Movement. International Society for...
You never know. If God tells you, you will go.
That is true.
If Krishna directs you, you will go. It will eventually happen.
But actually, you're right, but you're also, there's more to it than that too. Anyone can try to do these things, but how successful you will be, that will depend on your purity.
And also direction from the top.
No. He is already directing. Everyone in this room, he is already directing to do it. But who is doing it? That direction is already there. It's not that he's not directing.
The ignition is not there.
No, it's coming from you. It means you're not ready.
It's not there.
Yeah, it means you're not voluntarily giving your life to him. That's the problem. Everyone likes to do this and talk, but actually doing it. Who is commit? Prabhupada did it. So he came to America, right, and he was 69 years old, and he started this movement all over the world. And now it is so powerful, this movement. We're building the biggest temple in the world in Mayapur, our world headquarters, on the bank of the Ganges in West Bengal, in India. And wherever we go in the world, if I travel to any country in the world, I have no anxiety because I can walk into any temple in any place in the world and I have a home. And I have friends. And I have something to eat. For the last over 30 years, since I've been a Hare Krishna devotee, I've never gone hungry. Quite obvious. I was actually skinny when I joined. But I'll show you a picture. That's my brother. I used to look like him. Skinny. Then I became a Hare Krishna, and they said, have something for breakfast. I said, okay. And I said, now have something for lunch. I said, okay. And they said, now you want dinner? I said, okay. And just before you go to bed, we have puri and sabji. And laddu. So I took it. And now look. This is Krishna consciousness. So the point is that I've never known any anxiety. I always have someone to look after us, someone, Many years ago, 2009, I was in a car accident. I was in New Zealand. And I was driving on the road. It was winter, June the 21st. It gets very cold in New Zealand. They didn't tell me that. On the brochures, they just say, come and look at the mountains. So I was looking at the mountains. But then suddenly, our car hit black ice, which means that you can't see it, but the road is ice. So the car started to roller skate like around the road. And I was actually chanting at the time. Hare Krishna. I was on my japa beads. My previous wife, she was driving. And the car started to go around. And a long story short, we crashed. And I was trapped in the car. I had a bad concussion, like my head got hit. I can't remember, even to this day, I still can't remember the accident. And then I woke up in hospital. They had to fly a helicopter and cut me out of the car with the big scissors. And then fly us to I woke up in the hospital. Like that. And I said to my previous wife, I said, what was I doing at the time of the accident? She said, you were saying, Krishna, 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 which was very reassuring for me. Because it made me understand that at the time of death, all this practice I'm doing, it was working because I was focused where I should be focused. I was focused on my spiritual focus, focused on God, on Krishna. So he will look after. So anyway, I survived. And I woke up in hospital, but in the next couple of days, I got around 60 phone calls from Hare Krishna friends, right? In Melbourne especially, because that's where I was from. And everyone ringing, are you okay? Can we do anything for you? Right? 3 of my friends, they said, come and stay with me, we'll look after you. So one of them I went to stay with. 6 weeks they looked after me. My leg was broken, so I couldn't do very much. They did the washing, the cooking, everything. For 6 weeks, just looked after, selflessly. Yeah? This is the benefit. So this mental anxiety we have is because we are disconnected. But when you are connected, when you have a community, a spiritual community, everything is very anxiety goes away. For myself, I can honestly say in life, I have we all have anxiety, that's natural, but my anxiety is so much less. Because I know, like today, if I lose everything, all my money, if I lose everything I own and everything, actually I don't have a lot of anxiety. Because I know there's people all over the world who will look after me. They'll say, come, stay with me, stay with us, we'll look after you, no problem. This is the benefit. So, the suffering that we have comes from the body, the mind, and the ego. So much mental suffering is there, but when you have a spiritual community, that mental suffering, it dissipates greatly. And then thirdly is the ego. Now the ego is a big problem. Just like I was showing one of my friends before how to chant. Does anyone have their beads with the bag? Do you have the beads with you? Can you get them? Yeah. So, every day we do some chanting, some mantra meditation. Mantra meditation is good for you. We highly recommend it. Just like before we were chanting this Hare Krishna mantra. How did you feel while we were chanting? I'll give them back. How did you feel while we were doing the chanting? Did you feel any anxiety? No? The anxiety dissipates. That's the power of the mantra. Actually, the word mantra, man means the mind, tra means to release. Mantra means spiritual sound which releases you from anxiety. It makes you spiritually blissful and happy, disconnected from this world. So we do this kind of chanting. It's very powerful where we all chant together. But also every day, those of us who are following the tradition, we also chant on the beads, the sacred beads. So we chant one mantra, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Every day I'm chanting one mantra on each bead. There's 108 beads. And for myself, because we're quite serious in our practice, we go around 16 times a day. It takes about 2 hours a day of heart. But the power of the mantra, it purifies the consciousness. So the problem that many of us face is our ego. Does anyone have a problem with their ego? One person, very good. Yeah, we don't realize. Sometimes we have so much ego we don't even realize we have ego. But other people will tell us. Yeah. People will let you know. You have an ego. Yeah. Just get married. Every day, yeah. Yeah, my wife tells me every day. Yeah. She humbles me every day. So, when we're doing our chanting in our japa bag, we keep the beads in the bag because they are sacred. We keep this finger out because this finger represents the ego. Because whenever your ego gets big, what do? Start pointing. Hey, who are you? And someone else goes, who are you? Have you ever seen sometimes? See like people having arguments in the car park or something? Yeah, everyone's going like, you can't hear them, but they're going like, everyone's going, and the other person goes. So this is the ego. And so we keep that out. That's why when we chant japa. This represents the heart. The bag represents the heart. The ego must go out of the heart. The ego is holding us back. This is a problem. So the process that we practice here is called bhakti yoga. Bhakti means devotion to Krishna. I'll just leave them here, is that okay? Yeah. So bhakti means devotion. The process that yoga means to connect, to unite. Bhakti means with your heart you connect to Krishna, you connect to God. And in this way when you connect, then your ego begins to reduce. Because you understand, I am not God. All of us think we are. If you analyze it, that's actually our problem. We think we are the center of the universe. Anyone have that problem?
Aham Brahmasmi.
Aham Brahmasmi? Yeah, that's what we should be thinking. Yeah, but at the moment we're thinking we are the center of the universe. One little girl, she put her hand up. She thinks she's the center of the universe. She's honest, but actually all of us do. That's how we think. It's all here for me. Ishwaroham, aham bogi, siddhoham, balavan, sukhi, Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita. Ishwaroham, I am the Ishwara. Ishwara means? Controller. Ishwara, controller. Isha, Ishwara, controller. I am the controller. I can put my own iPhone there, or I can put my iPhone there. What will you do? I am the controller of the iPhone. Oh God, it's not working. So we think we are the controller. Ishroham. Aham bogi. Bogi. Bogi means I am the enjoyer. Everything is meant for my enjoyment. And if you all cooperate with me, you're my friends. And if you don't cooperate with my enjoyment, you're my enemy. This is all in the mind. Friends, enemies, all these things. Just like, last year, 1 year ago, Russia attacked Ukraine. Why? Why? What's wrong with Ukrainian people? What's wrong with Russian people? I've got Russian friends, I've got Ukrainian friends. I don't have a problem with anyone. Bruce Lee? You know Bruce Lee? Bruce Lee? Yeah. Bruce Lee, martial artist. He was from Asia. And he went to America, late 60s. Right? And not as many people were traveling there. And they used to interview him. And they used to say, oh, you're from there? He said, why do you always ask me this? I'm from there, you're from here. We're all one. Our faces look different, that's all. Skin color is different, that's all. We're all one, we're all spirit. What is the you and this? And this is ignorance. This is called avidya. Avidya means ignorance. Oh, I don't like you because you're born in that country and I'm from this country. What's the difference? What's the difference between Russia and Ukraine? Besides one line that someone drew on the ground, which isn't even there. Right? Oh, you're from there, I'm from there, let's fight. Well, it doesn't even make sense. Right? So ego means, in the mind we think, oh, this person's the enemy, this person's the friend. This is all false. It is all temporary. Just like in your mind, just think of the person who you like the most in this world. Just for a minute, just meditate on that person. The person you like the most in this world. Right? That person, tomorrow, could be the person you don't like the most in this world. Has anyone ever had that experience? Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's called marriage. Right? You ask my wife. If you ask her, she'll come in a minute. Right? Then you ask her who her favourite person is, she'll probably say me. Right? I think I'm second, actually. I think our daughter is number one. I'm probably number two. So anyway, hypothetical, I'm just giving an example. So she'll say, like, I'm the favourite, like that. But then you ask her tomorrow, who's your least favourite person? It'll be me. Right? That's the way the world. That's all in the mind. It's all in that same person. Right? It's in the mind, how we project, and it's all based on ego, all these things. Right? It's all superficial. Krishna consciousness lifts us above all these things. Then we can all be peaceful, we can all be happy. So this place is called Shanti Dam. It's a peaceful place, because we don't tolerate ego here. Everyone here should be servant. Just like after we finish talking, then we will have a nice feast. So we need some help to serve the feast, to clean up afterwards. So this is our natural position, to serve. Now, that's what we do here. We teach people to serve. Don't come just to exploit or just to extract, just to take. That's not the mood of the place. That's why it's Shanti, that's why it's peaceful. Because if everyone comes here just to exploit, then how can there be happiness and peace? You can't find happiness and peace when you just want to take all the time. So this place is called Shanti Dam. It's called Ananda Dam. Well, what does Ananda mean?
Happiness.
Happiness. Wrong. It doesn't, yeah, very good. Bliss. Bliss. Happiness is, Ananda is not happiness. Ananda is bliss. Sukha is happiness. Sukha. You know, anyone here from India? Sukh. Or in Hindi we say sukh. In Sanskrit we say sukha. Sukh. Sukh, dukh. Sukh, happiness. Now, in this material world you have happiness. It's the coin. If you have a coin, one side is happiness. But a coin always has another side. And what is the other side of sukh?
Tails.
Dukh. Or unhappiness, misery. Right? So the happiness in this world, if you're happy in this world, one thing you know is that soon misery will come. Because that's the nature of this world. There's always the opposite side of the coin. Just depends, you flip it. Some days it's heads, some days it's tails. Sometimes happiness, sometimes distress. Right? So sukh means happiness, but happiness, it means if you are happy, that will disappear soon. And if you're miserable, that will disappear soon. And you'll be happy again. So don't spend your whole life just wondering, am I happy? Am I sad? These are all just mental adjustments. Right? But Ananda, which is what we are teaching here, Ananda means bliss. Bliss is something which doesn't change. It means your happiness stays perpetual. Right? Because it's based on a spiritual platform, not material things. Because everything in the material world. So this place is Ananda Dam. It is a place where you can be happy too much of the time. There's too much happiness here. If you serve Krishna, and if you're chanting Krishna's names, you will feel happy. Ananda. It will be here. So this is called Ananda Dam. Shanti Dam, peace, place of peace, place of happiness and bliss. And then thirdly, Bhakti Dam. Bhakti Dam means the place of devotion. Where here we render devotion and service to all the living entities here. This is one of the only places in Australia where you will visit a Goshala. After lunch, we'll take you to our Goshala. Hands up if you want to visit the Goshala. Yeah. Goshala means the cow barn. We'll take you there after lunch. And you will meet the cows. Right? We have 26 cows and bulls living here with us. And they are served with devotion by those who live here, by my wife, by Manigriva, by everyone who lives here. Now, it is a Goshala, one of the only Goshalas in Australia, which means, Goshala means, Go means cow, Shala means the shelter. Goshala means, it's one of the only places in Australia where the cows, they are born here and they die, and there is no anxiety for them. In the sense, they don't have to worry, someone will kill them. If you look in Australia, you won't find that. Right? Always they want to kill. Right? So if you do like that, you cannot become spiritually realized. That's why we are vegetarians. Right? Very important. If there's one thing that you need to make an adjustment within your life, if you're not already vegan vegetarian, then do it. Because as long as you are committing that karma, that negative energy onto other living entities, it will always come back to you. Right? And you will not be peaceful in this world. You can't be peaceful. So you have to learn this science. That's what we teach here. Bhakti Dam, Shanti Dam, Ananda Dam. Hare Krishna Valley.com. Oh, very good. You're very intelligent people. 2 things I want you to remember when you leave here today. The name of our website, .com. .au. And the Hare Krishna mantra. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama. Very good. You get a free dessert. Very good. I want you to remember these things. This chanting, if you do it on a daily basis, you will feel your anxieties dissipate. You will feel spiritually enlivened. Just like a few of my friends, they're here now. They've just been coming for the last 1 year or so. They've started chanting. And it's making so much difference in their life. They are blissful. They're feeling very happy. Our motto is chant and be happy. If it doesn't work, we'll give your money back. But if it does work, then keep doing it. And then you can come and hang out with us. You can serve the cows. You can do so many things. It's a nice place. So, what was that? Service, yeah, do service. So I'm just going to ask if anyone wants any questions. If there's anything you'd like to ask about our lifestyle, our philosophy, anything like that, then you can ask some questions if you have any questions you'd like to, or if you have any comments you'd like to make, you can do it. Yes, sir.
I heard recently that mind travels with you in subsequent lives.
Yeah.
Is that true?
Yeah.
So the ego goes with it as well?
Yeah. Where did you hear that?
Because we with us.
my godbrother. We have the same guru. Yeah, initiated by the same guru. I haven't seen him for a long time, maybe 10 years. Very nice point. So, the soul, just to elaborate on this point that you've made, we are the soul. Originally, we lived with Krishna in the spiritual world. People call it heaven or Vaikuntha or spirit, but you know what I'm talking about. So just like when you look in those pictures, you see Krishna. Krishna is the bluish cowherd boy. He looks like someone from Avatar. Hey, you know that word avatar? They got that from us. That's our word. Sanskrit. Avatar means one who descends. Krishna is an avatar, means he came to earth. God came to earth. James Cameron took that. He actually said, I was reading the other day, he said, Avatar is all based on Hindu teachings. We are Hindus. This is our teachings. Avatar. And then in the latest movie, they use this word Amrita. Did anyone see it? See the movie? Yeah. So Amrita, you know, they say Amrita. That's our word also. Amrita means immortal. Amrita, without death. Amrita. So he took so many of these concepts from our teachings. So Krishna, you see in the pictures, everyone is living with him. We were living with him in the spiritual world. But one thing that he gave us was independence. Independence means we can make our own choices. So at some point in eternity, we were with him in a very nice situation where there was no anxiety, but we thought, I need a little space. And he said, are you sure? And we said, yes. And he said, are you really sure? And we said, yes. And he said, okay, then go to the material world. It is a place of anxiety. And enjoy yourself. It's full of anxiety, but enjoy yourself. And it is temporary, but enjoy yourself. So we're all here now trying to enjoy ourselves. And how is that working out for everyone? How are you? No? Even the young people are saying, this is what the world's like now. Even the young people, you haven't even got into the workforce and everything yet. And already everyone's full of anxiety. It's the nature of this world. It's full of anxiety. You know? So, what we teach here is how to reverse the situation, because our soul is now trapped here, and we're traveling through different lifetimes. That is called samsara chakra. Chakra means circle, a wheel. Samsara means birth and death. So we are trapped on like a Ferris wheel. You know, sometimes we go up, we take birth in Bali. Okay. Pretty good. And then sometimes we go down, take birth in. Oh, where's a bad place? I don't know. If I say something wrong, everyone's going to be upset with me, so I'm trying to... You know what I mean, right? So sometimes you go up and sometimes you go down. Samsara chakra, right? So we're traveling on this wheel, right? And we have different lives. And each life, your mind and your ego go with you. So we've got the same mind we had when we first got here. The mind changes constantly. Just like, you know, we have the saying, change your mind. Or did you change your mind? Because sometimes we say that. Because the mind changes constantly. I was giving the example before. Our favorite person can become our most unfavorite person overnight. Or even between 10 o'clock and 11 o'clock in the morning. Right? I have experience in my life. Right? Not saying to anyone like that, but sometimes it's like that in my life. Someone said, oh, really?
You can't say that anymore.
Sometimes I'm the favorite and sometimes I'm not so good anymore. It was nice knowing you and we'll see you next time. Thanks for coming. So this is the nature of this world. It is like that. Right? It is changing. So the mind changes. Even in our life, you know, things that we think, it changes over time. Like things I thought in my 20s or my 30s, I don't think like that anymore. So the mind changes, it evolves. Now Krishna says in the 8th chapter of the Bhagavad Gita, he says, Yam yam vapi smaram bhavam. Smaram means whatever you're remembering at the time of death, That's where you will go to without fail. So whatever you think of at the time of death. It's very important what you think of. Remember I told you I had that near-death experience? So what was I doing? I was chanting Krishna, Krishna, Krishna. You know? So my mind went at the time of death to that place, a good place. But you might say something else at that time. Or you might think something else at that time. What do you think of at the time of death? When you go to the time of death, everything slows down. Have you heard that? Your life flashes before your eyes, like everything goes slow motion. People have told me that. They've been rolling in a car, and they're thinking, oh, well, maybe this is how I'm going to die. But they say it's like slow motion. Right? And you see your whole life going, oh my God, that's my whole life going on. So, whatever we're thinking of, or whatever we're most attached to in our life, that's what we will think of at the time of death, because that will give us security. For me, my security is Krishna. Fortunately, I've molded my life in that way. So I'm connected to him. And I feel, if I'm in that situation, I think that I will grasp onto him. But whatever you're attached to, whatever you remember, that will take you to your next birth. And people are attached to all sorts of crazy things. So whatever you're thinking of at the time of death, that's where you will go to, according to your karma. This is science. This is science. This is how it works. It's scientific. Some people say, I don't believe in reincarnation. That doesn't mean anything. You can say, I don't believe in gravity. That doesn't mean anything either. Go and jump off the roof. Just jump off and say, I don't believe in gravity. Right? And as you're hitting the ground, you say, I don't believe in... Well, it doesn't work like that. So reincarnation is like that too. You can say, I don't believe in it. It doesn't matter. That's just the way it works. It's scientific. So whatever we're thinking of. So the mind is very important because it travels with us lifetime to lifetime. But we don't want to keep being born again and again and again. We're not born agains. And we're not born agains. We want to finish this once and for all and go back to the place where we belong. So yeah, the mind and ego carries us to our next birth. So we have to overcome that. Do you want to add anything?
Yeah, just so we want to free our mind of the ego, and that's where we stop.
No, you want to purify or transform your mind and ego. Because the mind can't stop thinking, but you have to purify your thoughts, make them Krishna conscious. Ego always exists, but at the moment we have what we call a ahankara. Ahankara means a false ego. In other words, we think we are something that we are not. I think I'm the body, but I am not. Right? So that is a false ego. So we want to purify our mind to go back to our real ego, which is we are Krishna's servant. Jivara Srupahoy, Krishnara Nichadas. That's reality. Does that make sense? Anything else you want to add? Very good question.
Can
I add something to that? So you're asking, well, there's the gross body, the physical body, but in that subtle body that you talk about is mind intelligence as well and ego. And so the mind is simply acting on behalf of the intelligence and the ego. So as Kesava was saying, we have to engage our intelligence as well. So we need to study and understand who we are, what we are. Because at the moment we have what is called the false ego, the ahankara. So we think we're this body. And so the mind is like, you would imagine like the ego's like the architect or something like that. Or and then the intelligence is like the supervisor. It does the research. How do we make this happen, this plan, this thing happen? And the mind is like the labourer. The mind's the one that's running around and, because I think I'm this, so I want to wear these clothes, I want to do this because I'm trying to identify as what my ego is telling me. So the mind is the lackey for that. So if you can engage the intelligence, which is in the middle, by studying and understanding who the real ego is and what this is all about, who you are and what your purpose is, the mind will then start to change according to what you're identifying as with the ego and what the intelligence is instructing it to do. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So that's how the subtle body works.
So if I desire something, my desires are changing. So what I want is changing, leading towards Krishna consciousness.
Yeah.
That's they're better desires. So I'm assuming we always desire, but
Yeah.
just our desires need.
You will always desire, the mind's nature is always to accept, reject. It's always accepting something, rejecting that. You know, I like this, I don't like that. You know, it's too hot, it's too cold, that's what it's doing. But yeah, if that's changing, it will change with it, because the mind's quite simple. It doesn't seem like it at this point, but it is quite simple. It changes.
Malleable,
Yeah, and it will follow the lead of the intelligence and the ego. So yeah, as your identity changes or your nature changes, the mind will start to change with things as well, and choose things that are more conducive to what practices you're taking on.
Yeah. And in the third chapter of the Bhagavad Gita, near the end, Arjuna asks a very interesting question on behalf of all of us. So he says, why is it Krishna, he's speaking to Krishna, to God himself, and he says, why is it that sometimes I know I shouldn't do something, but I do it anyway? Is anyone in the audience able to relate to what I'm speaking about here tonight? Okay, 3 people. Yeah. So, why is it that sometimes, right, I know I shouldn't do something, but I do it anyway? Right, we've all had that experience at some point in our life. So Krishna gives a very interesting answer. He says, Kama esha, Krodha esha, Rajaguno samudbhava. He says it comes from Kam. Kam means lust. Lust means the desire to be separate from God or Krishna. That's what makes us do something that we should not do. We know we shouldn't do it, but I have such a desire to do it. I'm so attached to it. I will do it anyway, even though the voice in my head and in my heart is, you know, you ever had that? Where you know when you're doing something you know is wrong and your heart starts going boom, 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 boom. Have you ever had that? You know what that is? That's Krishna, that's God, because he's in there as well. And he's going, this is not cool. And so it's going boom, 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 boom. It hasn't happened to me for quite a while, but if it ever happens, then I say, oh, wait a minute, I shouldn't be doing this. You know, because this is Krishna himself saying. So, Kama esha means lust. That's why we do things we shouldn't do. Krodha esha. What does krodha mean? Krodha. Anger. Anger. Big problem in the world these days. Anger management. Right? I've got courses online on our website, how to overcome your anger. Anger management. It's a big topic these days. Where does anger come from? People always say, where does anger come from? You know, when we're teaching about how to control anger. Anger is kamanuj. Anuj means following, or the follower. Kam means desire. When you don't get what you want, you become angry. You ever seen a kid in the supermarket when they can't have an ice cream? I've seen stuff on like YouTube and so like kids just going ballistic, you know, because they just couldn't get an ice cream or something like that. Right? That's what we're like as adults sometimes. Oh, I didn't get what I want, so like total meltdown. It's worse when an adult does it. Right. So this is krodha. Krodha means anger. That's where anger. So Krishna says, and where does it born from? Samudbhava means rajagun. Rajagun means passion. We're too passionate in this world. Right? Too many material desires. Right? So you have to reduce your material desires. Right? Live a more simple life. You saw in our front board when you drove in, what was the motto? Hare Krishna Valley? .com.au. Natural living? Higher thinking. Very good. Right. You get a free drink today. Natural living, higher thinking, right? Simplify your life. Make it more simple. Right? Everyone thinks the goal of life is to make it more complicated. The more toys I have, the more possessions I have, the more successful I am. It's actually the opposite.
The less you have, better you are.
What is that?
The lesser you have, better you are.
In some ways. In some ways. You can have things.
Take care of everything, you get busy taking care of everything, but
Yeah. Means keep it in moderation. Too little is not good, too much is not good.
survive.
And whatever you have, you need to use it in Krishna's service. That's the point. So we need to simplify our life. Live simply and think about higher things. So Krishna says we are too much in Rajagun in this day and age. Too much passion. And we have to simplify things a bit more. Who asked that question? I can't remember whose question it was.
It was a flow on from the mind.
Oh, it was a flow on. Oh, from that one? I was still going, was it?
Yeah.
Okay, I thought someone else asked.
Last chapter. You mentioned about the last chapter.
Oh, last chapter. Oh, yeah, I was going from what you
Yeah.
said. Yeah, sorry.
Third chapter.
Yeah, I thought, because I was trying to think, who am I speaking to? Yeah. Thank you. Any other questions? Comments? We have a few more minutes. So, yeah.
Would you be able to explain why Krishna is always painted blue?
Yeah. Very good question. Why is Krishna always painted blue? Because he is blue. That's why he's painted blue. In our theology, in our tradition, Krishna is God. He's not an old man wearing with a white, as Michelangelo painted him on the Sistine Chapel. You see the picture of God, the famous picture, where he's reaching out to mankind and like that. He has long white flowing robes and long white beard. That's a mental concoction on behalf of Michelangelo. He thought in his mind, God is ancient, he is wise, so he depicted him like that. So it's natural, we would think like that. And most of us are brought up in a Judeo-Christian, well, many of us, many are brought up in a Hindu tradition, but many of us were brought up in a Judeo-Christian background. So, you know, I always conceptualized God like that. But then when I came to the Hindu scriptures, the Bhagavad Gita and so forth, and the Hare Krishna movement, I was shown that God is actually a young, 16-year-old, bluish cowherd boy. Which for me sits more comfortably. Because he's young, because I'm free-spirited, I'm a little wild. Yeah. I think, isn't your thing called Wild Drumming or something? Or?
Wild moves.
Yeah, Wild Moves. That's your website, isn't it? Yeah, so Wild Moves. So you're a little bit wild. Right? I'm a little bit wild. Most of us are a little wild. Hands up, you're a little wild. One guy. Only 3 people, that's surprising. No, there's normally more. I said little, just little. Little wild is okay. Little is okay. Too much, not so good. Little is okay. So, yeah, he's 16 years old. He's spirited, and he's young, and he's attractive. The word Krishna means all attractive. And then the question is, so why is he bluish? Well, that's his prerogative, because if he is God, then he can choose any colour he wants. And James Cameron just showed us that it is possible to be blue, because on Pandora there are blue people. So that is true. So the question is, why is he blue? Right? Just like today, the sky is blue. And what does that do to our consciousness, that colour? Right? You see, the countries in the world whose skies are that colour most of the year round, people are happy. And the countries in the world where that colour is hidden most of the year, it leads to a much different energetic vibration. So why is he that colour? Because that's how he feels. So that's why. It's actually said to be the colour of Ananda, or bliss. When you're feeling like that, you'll turn that colour. One day maybe you'll be that colour as well. They will know you're enlightened. So that's the reason. Would you like to end it? Yeah. Thank you. Any other questions? We have a few minutes, so we'd like to ask something. Yeah.
As you mentioned, anger, that on actually dropping down. The better to surrender to courage and happiness.
Yeah, ahankara means the false ego.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we have to give that up because it causes too many problems in this world. So when you have your real ego, you'll be happy. Any other questions?
If we have, if
Yes.
we have to give up everything bad or good or whatever, why do we have so many things imbibed in us?
What
We
is
have
it?
to give up this, we have to give up this, we have to give up this. Then why, first place, why do we have all this?
So why do we have so many things that we have to give them
We
up?
give up anuddara, give up ego, give up this, give up that, so many things. You know, long list. Why do we have first place? Who given us?
Yeah, because originally we were in the spiritual. Yeah, in the spiritual world, like when water is in the sky. When the water is falling in the sky, it is pure. Right? There is no adulteration. But when it hits the earth, it turns into mud. It becomes impure.
So the elements here.
Because of the elements. So when your soul comes into this world, it becomes covered by ego and mind and intelligence and earth and water and fire and air and ether, all these gross things.
And we absorb.
Yeah, and then we identify with them. And then that's when we have all, now you have to give up all these things. Because you're just identifying with something which is not you, that's all.
Has anybody succeeded? I mean, in general, people, common people.
Succeeded in giving it all up? Yeah. Yeah. People have succeeded. I mean, Prabhupada was pure, as far as I can tell. And in this world, I've met a few people, Radhanath Swami, and I've met a few Jayapatakas, some gurus who are very pure. I've met a few.
I have met some gurus in my life. I noticed they're very angry. So if they have given up, why the anger returns, why other things return?
It depends what the anger's for. Anger's not a bad thing. Anger's a good thing. Anger's good, but you have to use it at the right time and the right place. Like if your kid's setting fire to the house and you don't get angry, there's a problem with you. Yeah, your kid's like, you know, setting fire to something, you say, hey, what are you doing? Hey, stop. How many times have I told you? You know, if you don't get angry, then there's a problem with you. Anger's not a bad thing. You just have to use that. Anger's a tool. Just like my iPhone's a tool. Is an iPhone bad or good? Right? It's not bad or good. It's how I use it. Like, you know, many people today came from this iPhone. Right? Some days I lay on my couch, right? And I just spend 10 minutes or 20 minutes just sharing. Oh, I've got a Hare Krishna open day today. And so many people go, oh, let me come. That's a good thing. So I use the iPhone, it's for a good thing.
So anger sometimes is not bad. Ego sometimes is not bad.
Ego means pure ego is good. False ego is bad. Ahankara is bad. Because that's not who we are. So you have to give that up.
So what is the pure ego?
I am the servant of Krishna. That's pure. Yeah, when you're thinking like, because ego is what you think about yourself. So if you ask me, what am I, who am I? I'll say, I'm servant of Krishna. If I ask you, what, or not you, but if I ask someone, what are you? They say, I'm the President of America. Well, actually, you're not. It's just something you are at the moment. Yeah, but every 4 years they change, and you know, it's not who you actually are. But we all identify with something in this world. It's called upadi. Upadi means like a false designation. So it's something false that we make up for ourselves, but it's not actually who we are. So pure ego is good, but false ego is, that's the problem.
You mentioned the Krishna community has less anxiety, which I get from my experience.
Yep.
You also suggested the philosophy of whatever you're thinking at the time of death determines where you go. It seems like quite a anxiety-inducing philosophy.
Anxiety-inducing philosophy?
Yeah,
it is. Yeah. Well, it's not anxiety-inducing, but it's what we call healthy pessimism. Right? You have to be pessimistic about this world to a healthy degree. You can be over the top, like, oh, you know, everything's bad. You know, we meet people who are like that. It doesn't matter what you say, oh, everything's bad. No, that's not healthy. But healthy pessimism means this place is temporary. That's healthy, because it is. It is full of suffering and anxiety, right, in all of our lives. So it is. That's healthy pessimism. So that makes us detach from this world. So then we can go back to the spiritual world. That's all. So yeah, it sounds like it's a bit of a pessimistic philosophy. It is, but in a healthy way, not in a negative way. Otherwise, everyone's illusioned. Everyone just thinks, oh, I'll just live here forever. People think they're going to live here forever. You're not going to live forever. Everything's going to be taken away.
Not that you live here forever, but just that whatever you're thinking at that moment of death determines everything. Is that?
Yeah.
Is that?
It's serious stuff. It's serious stuff. You know the saying life and death. You know, like it's life and death. That's a saying. Yeah, it is. That's what it is. That's reality. You know, what are you thinking right at that moment, in the final moments of death? Yeah, that's very important. That's what we're trying to emphasize. Like I said, I gave my own example. Like in my life, I had a near-death experience. My consciousness went where I trained it to go at that time. So I felt very relieved about that. It gives me a great deal of security, because next time it happens, which could be when I'm older, or it might be tomorrow, or it might be in 5 minutes, I don't know. When that happens, I've got to be ready. So you want to practice in your life in such a way, by chanting and by devoting yourself to Krishna in such a way, that when that moment does come, you're ready. Like that. So like you said, it's like, well, what if I'm not ready? What if I blow it? Well, you can come back, get born in the Hare Krishna ashram, and then you can eat the good food, and it's not so bad.
Another go.
Yeah, have another go. Not so bad. But I'm trying to get it all wrapped up in this lifetime, because the world's getting pretty crazy. And I'll probably live another 30, 40 years or something in this body, probably. So even the next 30, 40 years, I'm pretty interested to see what's going to happen, because it's getting pretty crazy. So to think I'm going to come back again, I mean, God, we're 2023. Imagine 3023. Well, that's going to be like, it's going to be pretty extraordinary. So yeah, if you give it up in this lifetime, it might be a good idea. It's up to you. At least have food. Any other questions? Yes, sir.
First of all, thanks very much for giving this very enlightening session to all of us. I think at the start of the new year, that's really good.
Yeah.
You did mention a lot of things which are part of the Hare Krishna consciousness and coming from the Hinduism as a religion, like avatars and rebirth. And what's your thought about what's the definition of Hinduism, or who is a Hindu?
Yeah, it's interesting, because there's 5 major religions in the world. Right? There's Christianity, Hindu, Islam, Judaism, and Buddhism. They're the 5 main religions in the world. Now it's interesting, because the word Hindu is not Sanskrit, it's not Vedic, it's not in any of the scriptures. If you go through any of the ancient books, there's no word Hindu.
Yep.
Right? So Hindu came when the Mughals, when the Muslims, when they invaded India, right, in the past, 1,000 years ago or so, as they were coming into India from Afghanistan, Pakistan, you cross the Indus River.
Yes.
So anyone who was on the other side of the Indus River, which is India, they said they are the Hindus. And that's where the word came from, the Hindus.
Yes.
So it just means anyone who lives in India, that is Hindu. Right?
Good.
But there's a problem with that. It's coming from a geographical term. It doesn't describe the actual teachings of ancient India.
Yes.
So when someone says to me, am I a Hindu? I mean, I am, because I'm part of the Krishna consciousness, so I am. But I never say I am a Hindu. I follow Sanatana Dharma.
Yes.
Sanatana Dharma. Sanatana means eternal. Dharma means religion or truth.
Yes.
So I follow eternal principles. That's what I follow. And actually every religion teaches Sanatana Dhamma. What did Jesus teach? Love thy neighbor as you love thyself. And love thy Lord with all your heart. Same. Okay, the details are different, but same. So this is Sanatana Dhamma. We're not Hindu. Hindu is just another reason to argue. It is, because I'm Hindu, you're Muslim, let's fight. You built my mosque where my temple is. Yeah, in India you know all the problems. Hindu, Muslim fighting, not necessary. Sanatana Dharma, everyone on the earth. This is all. We don't need all this Hindu, otherwise just another reason to fight. There's too many problems in the world already. Dharma. Dharma means truth, religion. Just like 1 month ago, we had a baby bull. After lunch, you will go and see. We have a baby bull. His name is Dharma. Because he is teaching us. Look, if you look after the cows and the bulls, everything will be peaceful. Don't kill them. This is Dharma. Okay? Okay.
Sanatana Dharma. That's
Sanatana Dharma. Sanatana. Any other questions? Yes.
Like, thank you so much for inviting me on this. No, every one of us know we should have a goal, ahankar and all those things. But at the same time, okay, we listen here, I'm being very honest.
Yeah.
We say, yes, we should give up all this.
Yeah.
But due to human tendency, we start doing the same things again.
Yeah.
And this is increasing in the world. We know that nothing comes with us, but nothing is decreasing. The love has diminishing day by day. So is it due to Kali Yuga?
No, it's due to participating in Kali Yuga. For those who don't know, Kali means dark, Yuga means age. So we're in Kali Yuga. It started 5,000 years ago when Krishna left the world. It means the dark age, and it goes for 427,000 more years. Right? Do you know that song? You ain't seen nothing yet? Have you heard that song on the radio? You ain't seen? Yeah, that's Kali Yuga. Right? 427,000 years more. You think it's bad now? Just wait. It gets. I can actually tell you how it gets, but I'm not going to, because I'm feeling good today.
Yeah, because the people who really...
No, so I'll answer your question. So it's Kali Yuga is not the problem. The dark age is not the problem.
Yeah.
It's whether or not you choose to participate in the dark age. So what we follow is what Gandhi taught. You know Gandhi? Yeah, you're from India?
Yes.
Yeah, so you know Gandhiji. So how did Gandhi get rid of the British from India? No cooperation. He stopped cooperating with the British. He wouldn't buy their products. He wouldn't use their system. He stopped using the railway. He would walk. No cooperation. The British said, well, no one's going to buy our stuff. They left. There was a bit more to it than that, but I'm giving a short version. So no cooperation. So in Kali Yuga, with this materialistic society, which is around us, I don't cooperate. I'm not going to cooperate with it. Right? We're going to live our life according to Sanatana Dam, spiritual principles. So you don't have to do it. Like you said, you come here, you listen, you agree, and you think it's very good, but you go home and you keep doing it. You'll go home, you'll keep watching your Bollywood movies, right? You'll watch Netflix, you'll watch Bollywood, you'll do all your music and everything like this, and keep doing everything the same. Then stop cooperating. Stop doing it. Live your life differently. 2023, live your life differently. Try something different.
She's actually working for Hare Krishna Temple in Melbourne.
No, I'm speaking in general.
That's why her question is very
relevant. Yeah. So we have to follow Sanatana Dharma. That's it. Make a change. Don't cooperate with the material society.
But don't you get singled out? Because you are trying to...
No, there's a group. Like we have groups. Like this is ISKCON, it's a group. There's thousands of us. There's millions of us on the planet. So it's not a small thing anymore. These things are growing. Just like my friends, they listen to this podcast. What's it called?
Wisdom of the Sages.
Wisdom of the Sages. Very good podcast. My friends, they run it in New York. Every month now, they have 250,000 listeners. Is it?
Yeah.
Oh, I know that's
a
a
lot
minute.
more.
Oh, it's more now.
Oh, well, yeah, they have a lot in it.
Yeah,
It's growing all the time.
Yeah, it's growing all the time. So 250,000 people a month are listening to their podcast. It's all about spiritual things, Krishna consciousness, Sanatana Dharma. So it is growing. It's not getting less. Materialism is growing, but so are we. And who's going to win? Let's wait and see.
Sanatana Dharma will guide us. Sanatana Dharma
There were guys,
will tell who will win.
We have to choose our camp. You have to choose your camp. Because many people, they think the World Cup is the goal of life. Did you see all the Argentina people when they won the World Cup? They were going crazy, man. Right? It's just a game. It's just a couple of boys kicking a ball on the ground. Right? But, oh my God, that's not the goal of life. Soccer's just fun. Like after, everyone leaves, sometimes we go and play soccer or I play tennis, It's fun. We like to have fun, but it's not the goal of life.
But no one bets $1 million on your tennis.
On my tennis? Yeah, no one bets $1 million, but some people bet on...
Who's betting on your tennis?
Yeah, but some people, the point is we take some things too seriously.
The media has all the hype.
No, but whether we buy into the media. Media is not a problem. It's whether we buy into it, that's all.
It was very inspiring talk. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Please come. I think we'll stop here. My friends are cooking a big feast for everyone. There's more than 100 people here today. So we'll make a line and we'll go that way, and hopefully it's ready. If it's not ready, it'll be ready in the next 5 minutes or so. So please line up and then we'll come. You'll take your prasad. Prasad means spiritual food. This food is blessed, right? It has spiritual potency. Just by eating it, you'll become enlightened. After lunch, we'll go and see the cows. Please come again.
Thank you.